Hey there, how are you? I am so glad that you're here and welcome to this week's episode. If you've been with me for some time, welcome back. And if you're a new listener, someone who's just found me, I am so glad you're here and I am glad to meet you. We're talking about identity today. Your identity. Who are you? How do you define yourself? What do you want more of? And what do you want less of? Who do you want to be? And I love to call that person you 2.0. Coaches, do you want more clients? Would you like to be fully booked? Do you want to be able to quit your job and have a freedom based business? Would you like to weigh less? Do you want to be fit? Maybe you want to have better, more loving, and connected relationships. Well, if you're human, you want something. Maybe there's something that you've been dreaming of for months or even years. It's always out there in the distance, right? And you find yourself thinking, someday, someday I'll have that. Someday I'll reach that goal and be that way. It's kind of like if you're looking off at a beautiful view in the distance and you can sort of see it, but you can't quite touch it or feel it or smell it. You see the idea of it, but not the detail. So, what is it for you? What's that one thing that you keep tucked away in the back of your mind that you just wish you could have? It's okay if you've kind of given up on that dream. Even if you've been thinking about it for a few years, I believe that if you want it, if you desire it, it means that you are capable of having it. No matter how much you've tried, no matter how often you've failed, or how often you've thought about it and then set this big, hairy, audacious goal only to run into obstacles and finally get discouraged and maybe even give up. You can have that. So I want to encourage you to dust off your dream and bring it out. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, what is that thing for you? Take a pause here and ask yourself, what is that one goal, that one that you would love to have that you 2.0 already has? So, it's not, I want you to think about this. So often, when we set a big goal, we create a massive project plan and then we split it into milestones and into micro goals. And then we create this action plan that you just check off. And I know that that sounds great, but I also know that life gets in the way. It's not about knuckling down and grinding and checking off everything on your to do list at the expense of everything else in your life. It's actually simpler than you think, but simple doesn't mean easy. You may remember that I've explained this to you. Your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings guide your actions, the things that you do or that you resist doing. And then your actions create your outcome. So, yes, you do need to take action to create the things that you're after, but it's not the only thing. The way you feel makes the doing easier or harder. When you feel inspired, you're on fire, and boom, you get tons of things accomplished. When you've had a string of 10 no's in a row and you feel kind of disappointed and rejected, it's no wonder you find yourself dragging your heels and second guessing, maybe procrastinating a little. Now, you 2.0, the you who has already achieved that, still experiences the ups and downs in your life. But they're also the kind of person who is a fully booked coach. They're the kind of person who has quit their job handily. They're the kind of individual who's lost the weight and easily keeps it off. So I'm curious, who would you be when that is your new way of being? Who would you be when you are you 2.0? And that's the piece that's interesting. And it's also the key to creating what you want. Now, let's go with this example. Think about this. Once you're fully booked, at first you're going to feel elated. It's going to be, yes, I reached my goal. But after a couple of weeks, you're going to notice that you feel like, that's just the way it is. And you're going to be on to the next big thing. Once you've reached and steadily maintained a weight loss, if that's your big goal that you've been dreaming of, a couple of weeks later, once the new gleam is worn off, you're going to be just thinking, oh, that's just who I am. That's just the way I am. You'll have gone from the person who wanted the goal to the person who has the goal. And then that person, that becomes your new normal. And that is you 2.0. So this is the be, do, have principle. And this is how you create the identity of you 2.0. The be, do, have principle reminds us that first you've got to create a vision of what you want and who you want to be. And then you use that vision as the waypoint, the guiding force on your journey to becoming that person who has already accomplished the thing. You already know that in some areas of your life, or you may not realize it, but I want you to think about this. There are areas of your life where you are already you 2.0 compared to a prior version of you. You may not have thought about it in that way, but I want you to consider it now. Either way, every time I hear this truth, I learn it at a deeper level. And so consider for yourself where you are already a you 2.0, but I also want you to see this in a different way because there's always something more to absorb and integrate and use. And that's the funny thing for me, too, about creating these podcast episodes. I guide you and I teach you and I encourage you. And at the same time, I'm teaching myself and I'm deepening my learning too. So think of something that you have right now. Maybe you went from dreaming of being a coach to now you've finished your coach training and you've had a client or two. Guess what? You have become you 2.0, a coach who has coached clients. Maybe you remember when you wanted to learn how to drive, and now you've got your driver's license, right? So many of us have had that experience. Do you see how you've done this transformation to you 2.0 from non-driver to driver? And if you've been driving more than a couple of days, it just feels natural. That's just who you are. Of course, you're a driver. That, of course, you're a driver, is you 2.0. Now, with those examples, do you see what I mean? Do you see how this has already happened? These transformations have happened over and over and over in your life. And once it's done, you think, well, of course I can drive, or of course I'm a coach. It's just the way it is. So when I first started thinking about this be, do, have principle, and I first started learning about it, there is an old sales professional who said this: you have to be before you can do, and do before you can have. Now, that fellow's name was Zig Ziglar, and he is an icon in the industry. But the first time I heard it, I was like, what? What did he say? It just didn't compute with me. So let me read the quote to you again. You have to be before you can do, and do before you can have. Now, because I spent my whole life believing that common misunderstanding that it was only when I had the thing that I wanted, I had the thing, then I would actually get to do the things that I wanted to do. And finally, only at that moment would I get to be who I wanted to be. So I had it backwards. And that is super common. That's what most of us think until we start to embrace this be, do, have principle. I learned that this accepted approach, the standard way we think about it, is backwards. It's not take action and then reach the goal and then become the new version of you. It's actually the other way around. Now, I want you to know this isn't just some woo-woo idea. There's some really strong research on this. One book that does an excellent job summarizing it is called Your Future Self by research psychologist Hal Hershfield. It is a fascinating read, and I highly recommend it. I've been reading it or listening to it on Audible, and I really have enjoyed it, and it's just opened my eyes up to so many things. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can check it out too. So be the person who has the goal that you desire. Be you 2.0, and then do the things that you 2.0 does, and then you must create the way you 2.0 is. This is a little bit of a tongue twister. Let me read that one to you again. Be the person who has the goal that you desire. Be you 2.0. And then do the things that you 2.0 does. Then you will create the things that you 2.0 has. So the way that I like to do this is I like to do let's pretend. Remember when you were a kid? You might have pretended that you were something. Maybe you pretended you were a zoologist, or you pretended you were a famous author. And then you lived, you embodied that dream individual that you wanted to be. And you would maybe dress like that person, or you would do the things that you think an author would do. You would sit with a notebook and take notes in it, or type on your computer, or maybe you would go and look at different animals at the zoo. You would do the things that you, the zoologist or the author, that you dreamt of being when you were a kid. And then with time, that is how you actually embody that. So you can just play. Let's pretend. Let's pretend I'm already at that goal. And just use your imagination and fill it in. So, what story are you telling yourself about becoming a successful coach who has impact? Now, I've given you a couple of examples, but I'm going to bring you back to the coaching example. So, most of us think that we need to have a certain thing. Maybe it's more money or more time or clients or experience so that we can finally do something important. Maybe it's pursuing your passion of being a coach or starting a business, which will then allow us to be what we truly want in life: proud, fulfilled, inspired, successful. That's the way society thinks we have to do it. But actually, it's the other way around. Do you think you need to have 10 clients before you can do the things that successful coaches do? And only when all of that is in place do you get to be a successful coach with impact? Yeah, so this is the backwards way, right? This is treating your goal just like an old school project manager would. And it's the hardest way. So I've got news for you. That is a way is outdated. And it's actually the slowest and the hardest and the most pressure filled. I want you to enjoy your journey every single step of the way. So here's how to do it. Remember that let's pretend. I want you to start with your vision. What do you want to be? Do you want to be a fully booked coach so you can quit your soul sucking job? Do you want to be a force of nature where you, as a coach, create an amazing ripple effect in your clients' lives? Dream right now. You can even pause this podcast and just pretend for a little bit and answer these questions for yourself. What do I want? What do I really want? Why do I want it? What will it give you? Go ahead. Hey, if you're not driving and you're able, hit pause and answer these questions for yourself. Now you're getting in touch with that dream. How will you feel when you are living that life? Will you feel fulfilled, successful, empowered? Again, pause this episode and write down a few of the feelings that you expect to feel when you create that vision. And I bet that if you're taking the time to write down your emotions right now, you're going to start to feel them too, right? Good. Go ahead. Enjoy it. Can you feel that feeling of success welling up in you, or the feeling of pride? Can you feel the freedom opening up your chest? Do this. Take the time every day to connect with that vision of you 2.0, which is what you just did now. and the emotions that you will feel when you are there. This is the most important step, so I'm going to repeat it. Take time every day to connect to the vision of you 2.0 and experience the emotions that you're going to feel when you get there. Do it multiple times a day. Your brain, I know your brain doesn't want to do this extra task because it takes energy to remember. So help yourself out. You could write a little post it note and keep it close to you. Or you could set an alarm on your phone and name the alarm your vision, whatever the vision name is. Or you could name the alarm the emotions that you want to feel. It's really fun. So give yourself permission to do this. Take the time to embody being your future self every day. And that is the experience of being in advance. Now, that's the visualizing. I've told you what to do. I hope you've done it. And I know that some of you will say to me, but Candy, I've tried this visualizing thing and it just doesn't work for me. But let me show you that you can visualize. And in fact, we all do. We do it just about every day. Some of us are more visual than others, but we all do it in one way or another. I've got two examples here for you. Example number one. Did your coworker or maybe a family member say something irritating yesterday? And you find that you're still arguing with them hours later? You're going on and on in your mind, still responding, still making your points, still explaining to them what was really going on. Imagining that scenario over and over. Well, guess what? That's visualizing. It's just worrying in reverse. Example number two. Have you ever had that time that you were worried about an upcoming test? You know what it's like? It's late at night and you're thinking about that test over and over, and you're imagining staring at the screen and drawing a blank. Or maybe you were imagining how embarrassing it's going to be when you fail. Yep, that's visualizing too. So anytime you have worried or thought about something not going well and gone over it again and again in your mind, you're proving that you can visualize. Do you see how easy it is to visualize about something that you're worried about or irritated with? Well, now you get to practice visualizing about something that feels good. All right. So now that we know we all visualize and that we're really good at visualizing for the negative stuff, we're just not as practiced doing it for the positive stuff. Now, I want you to ask yourself, when I am that future version of me, what do I do? So get into that space, imagine that you're you 2.0, and then ask, what do I do? Answer the question. What do you do? You're learning with this question how to learn from yourself. Your brain wants to answer a question. It must answer the question. So when you say to it, when I am that future version of me, what do I do? It's going to come up with some answers for you. So if you 2.0 has a thriving, fully booked coaching business and you've quit your job, ask yourself, what do I do? And then that is your to do list to start creating that business. I want you to know that your business that you design is going to be perfect for you. And I want to help you make the one that's just right. So that's why I'm not giving you the answers of what you 2.0 with a fully booked business would be like. Maybe it means you have a relaxed, easy morning. Maybe it means that you go out for lunch with a friend. Maybe it means that you love to work at night. I don't know what's right for you, but I want you to think of yourself. When you're in that position, when you have that, what do you do when you feel that way? I kind of liken it to the fairy tale, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Do you want a few clients or do you want to create an empire? That's like asking Goldilocks, what bowl of porridge do you want? Do you want the too hot bowl? Do you want the too cold bowl? Do you want the just right bowl? Well, you're the only one that's going to know what's just right for you. Maybe you 2.0, as a fully booked, thriving coaching person, has 15 individual clients and you're totally organized and you work half time. Then, when a new client signs up for coaching, you automatically send them a beautiful welcome package. Or maybe future you has 5 solid clients that stick with you for years. You're part of their life and you support them at every level of growth. Or perhaps you 2.0 delivers workshops in great corporate spaces, or you share your lessons at conferences. So now you know what to do as future you. So you go to the place where you are that person, pretend, and you ask yourself, what do I do? And that creates a list of things that future you does in a day. So let's stick with that first example, the one where you have 15 clients and you work half time. To make that happen, remember the description. You have an impressive and beautiful welcome package when somebody signs up. Well, guess what? It means you want to create yourself a welcome package. So that is a perfect thing for you to do. That's what you're going to work on. What would that welcome package include? What would it look like? You want to go and create that welcome package because that's what you 2.0 does. Maybe future you gets most of your clients from referrals. How could you make that happen? Well, you want to make sure you improve your coaching skills. You want to stay in touch with your past clients regularly. And you want to tell your clients that you're looking for more wonderful clients just like them and that you would appreciate the referrals. Do you see how, as you begin to create the systems, the skills, the understanding, and the mindset of future you, that it's so easy that now you're going to know what to do? You can't help it. When you start to get better at coaching and you remind your clients that you love referrals, guess what? You're going to start getting referrals. And that is you creating that future you. It's so much fun. Now, one of my examples from myself, this was years ago before I'd started this podcast. I had dreamt of having this show and I thought about it for weeks and months. And I thought about it and then I would get scared and I would back off and I would procrastinate. But then I realized that Candy 2.0 had a podcast. And in my vision, I knew that my dream clients listened to this podcast every week. And I knew that I had something to say, something to help them. I knew that I wanted to be in their ears as they were commuting to work, or as they went for a run, or as they were cooking dinner. I wanted you to feel connected to me and to get that useful, practical, and inspiring information. I wanted you to feel like you knew me and that I was there to guide you too. So that is what I imagined. And I knew that some of my listeners would become my clients too. So I put that be, do, have formula into play. And here I am. So not only do I have a podcast, but it's rated in the top 2% globally. I've published close to 300 episodes, and many of my clients work with me after listening to my show. And many of my current clients still listen to my show. And a shout out to you guys. I'm so pleased and so honored that you listen to me. And here I am. I'm speaking to you every single week as Candy 2.0, the one who has a podcast. So do you see how much easier it is? And it's way more fun too than that old nose to the grindstone project manager micromanaging with a checklist. Be future you today. Be you 2.0 today. Pretend. Feel how future you feels. Then do the things that future you does. The future you who already has that success that you want. And then it must happen. It must happen that you're going to have the things that future you wants. So I would encourage you, don't just listen to me. I want you to try this approach today. First, I want you to go and remind yourself of all of those transformations that you had. Like I gave you the example of when you didn't know how to drive to when you became a driver. Start to look for the evidence in your life. Where have you become you 2.0 in other areas of your life? Look for those examples. And then I want you to try this. Try these steps that I've told you. It is so much more enjoyable than delaying that reward until all the pieces are in place. Finally, as I wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this. Everything that we do or don't do, everything that we want or want to avoid is because of a feeling. So everything that you 2.0 wants to have is because of a way you think you're going to feel. Either we want to feel a certain way or we want to avoid feeling that way. We love to feel happy and free, and we want to avoid feeling shame and embarrassment. We want to feel confident and want to avoid anxiety. This be do have principle encourages you to feel more the way you want to feel right now instead of delaying that gratification. That changes the quality of your life. And the more you feel better, the easier so many of your goals will be for you to create. When you have the vision of what you want to create and you consciously connect with that vision, you're going to prime yourself through your feelings and your thoughts to do the things that you need to do to make your vision a reality. You will be the person you want to become. You will do the things that they do, and you will have the satisfaction, the love, the money, the freedom that you dream of. Now, before we go, if you loved this episode, do me a favor, please. First, pay it forward and share it with a friend. Then I would appreciate if you would take a minute to write me a review and give me, hopefully, a 5-star rating. I love reading these reviews, and if you're not subscribed yet, absolutely do that too. Hit the follow button so you don't miss any of these great episodes that I've got planned for you. Most importantly, I appreciate you, I believe in you, and I am cheering you on. I want to help you become that you 2.0 that you want to be. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with you, and I will see you on the next episode.